The day I learned to try again. I thought it was over. I had given it my all. I had put in the time, the sweat, the hope. I had built it up in my mind, this perfect picture of success. And then, it all came crashing down. The big no. The failed test. The project that fell apart. The door that slammed shut. It felt like the end of the world. It felt like a final verdict on my dream, my talent, my future. A single, loud message: you are not good enough. I remember the heavy feeling. The sadness that felt like a physical weight on my chest. I decided right then that I was done. It was too painful to hope, to try, to care that much. It was easier to just walk away. To find something smaller to dream about. To be content with less. For a little while, that felt okay. The pressure was off. There was no risk of failing because I wasn't trying anymore. But then, a strange thing happened. The quiet became too quiet. The safety started to feel like a cage. I missed the feeling of working toward something. I missed the version of myself that was brave enough to try, even with the risk of failing. One morning, I looked at the thing I had walked away from. It was sitting in the corner of my room, collecting dust. And instead of feeling the pain of failure, I felt a small, quiet pull. A little voice that said, what if? What if I just looked at it one more time? What if I learned from what went wrong? What if no just meant not yet? That was the day. The day I learned that failure is not a full stop. It's just a comma. A pause in the story. It's a chance to take a breath, to learn, and to start a new sentence. Trying again didn't mean I was ignoring the failure. It meant I was respecting it. I was using it. I took the broken pieces of my first attempt and I laid them out in front of me. I studied them. I asked the hard questions. Where did I go wrong? What could I do better? What did this experience teach me that I didn't know before? I realized that my first try was not a waste. It was the most valuable lesson I could have gotten. It was a map that showed me where the cliffs and the dead ends were. Now, I could plan a new route. So, I started again. But this time, it was different. The first time, I was driven by a bright, burning hope for success. This time, I was driven by a quiet, steady determination. I knew what failure felt like, and I had survived it. That knowledge made me stronger. The fear was gone, because I had already faced the worst-case scenario and lived through it. This time, my steps were slower, more careful. But they were also more confident. I wasn't a naive dreamer anymore. I was a builder with a better blueprint. The second try wasn't magic. It was still hard. There were still moments of doubt. But every small step forward felt like a victory over my past self, the one who wanted to quit forever. And then, slowly, things began to change. The small steps started to add up. The new knowledge I had started to pay off. The path began to feel smoother. I was not the same person who failed the first time. I was wiser. I was tougher. I had a resilience I didn't have before. I finally understood the secret. Success is not about getting it right the first time. It's about building something strong, and you often need the rubble of your first attempts to build a solid foundation. The day I learned to try again was the day I truly started to grow. It was the day I took my power back. I stopped letting a single failure write the end of my story. I decided I was the author, and I could start a new chapter anytime I wanted. Maybe you are standing in the wreckage of your own first attempt. It feels final. It feels absolute. Look at it. Really look at it. That is not an ending. That is raw material. That is experience. That is your teacher. Take a deep breath. Feel the disappointment, and then let it go. It has given you all it can. Now it's time to use the gift it left behind, the lesson. Your story is not over. The most beautiful chapters often come after a moment of defeat. The hero is always strongest after they have been knocked down and chosen to get back up. Today can be your day. The day you learn to try again. Pick up one piece. Just one. And start from there.